Welcome back. You're watching this special coverage of the King and the Queen's visit. The afternoon assignments, 3 awaiting the King, 1 done with at the City Chamber. Up next is headed to the Eastlands Library, where a short while ago, the Foreign Secretary of the United Kingdom, James Cleverly, and Education CS Ezekiel Machogu signed agreements. And here is what they said after the agreements.
The 3 PSs, the PS Basic, the PS TVET, and the PS Higher Education, ladies and gentlemen, indeed, it is a major honor to be part of this very historic occasion. Kenya and the United Kingdom have enjoyed a long-standing relationship dating back to their pre-independence days. The relationship has been across a range of socio-economic and political sectors. There are British footprints on many aspects of the Kenyan life. In the education sector, the United Kingdom has been one of the leading partners and supporters. I will just highlight a few areas. The United Kingdom is a member and the largest bilateral donor to the Global Partnership for Education and Education Cannot Wait initiatives. Through these initiatives, the United Kingdom has made significant contributions to promoting access and the quality of education in Kenya. This has been the case especially for marginalized learners in the rural and economically disadvantaged regions. Over the years, the UK has also provided training and study opportunities to many Kenyans through the Chevening Scholarship Program. This program has helped enhance the capacity of our professionals and exposed them to different perspectives that have positively impacted our people. Most recently, the UK has been very supportive of the Presidential Working Party on Education Reform. The UK provided technical support to the team and helped the various subcommittees to access, analyze, and apply evidence to strengthen the recommendations. The MOU
talking about how this has empowered the rural, many from the rural who had difficulty in accessing education through programs and aid from the United Kingdom. He also talked about training initiatives undertaken by the UK government through scholarship programs, which he said has greatly affected positively the growth of the Kenyan education sector and the professional workforce. Let's get back to CS Machogu and proceed with the listening.
Our partnerships. We thank you so much. With myself are a beneficiary of those partnerships. In 1990, I was sponsored to come to Birmingham University and later on to Bradford University. So you can see a number of us are products of that.
We'll get back to the pictures once they stabilize and also get an upbeat assessment from Chemutai Goin, who is situated there at the Eastlands Library, and will be getting the stable pictures of the Education CS Ezekiel Machogu. And let's proceed with what he said after signing agreement with the UK Foreign Secretary James Cleverly. I am made to understand that we'll be getting there shortly, but he largely talked about before welcoming the UK Foreign Secretary James Cleverly, the training of many Kenyans through scholarship programs by the United Kingdom government, which he said has greatly impacted the growth of Kenya's professional workforce, and that is the impact it has had in terms of economic growth and Kenya's export of its human resource in the fields of agriculture. So let's listen in to James Cleverly, or the UK Foreign Secretary, who is speaking.
You today, but also to see the young people taking part in the music activities here, the other activities in this wonderful refurbished library, to talk to the young entrepreneurs who are learning business skills through the Prince's Trust, and being reminded of the power of education. Now, I have to confess, Your Excellency, I did not know that you had studied in Birmingham and Bradford universities, but I'm very proud of the fact that the UK, in your case, as is often the case, has helped people achieve great things in their professional lives. So I'm very proud that we've had a small part to play on your success as the Education Cabinet Secretary. But it's not all one-way traffic. And as much as I am proud that the UK has played a part in the education of the leaders here in Kenya, the people in this room may not be familiar with the fact that the father of our Prime Minister went to Highway Secondary School here in Nairobi. So the UK's education system has played a part in the leadership of this country, but Kenya's education system has played a part in the leadership of my country. And that is what partnerships are about. We have a wonderful history of partnerships in education. And I know His Majesty the King and my Prime Minister and myself and the rest of the government want to make sure that that tradition of partnership carries on into the future. And we've done fantastic work together. In 2021, the UK and Kenya co-hosted the Global Education Summit, an event which raised $4 billion for education in developing countries around the world. And here in Kenya, we have supported 500,000 marginalised girls get into school and learn. And that is a fantastic progress. But as much as we can be proud of the progress that we have made, we have to recognise there is still much work to do. An estimated 1.8 million Kenyan children still lack access to school, and that is particularly the case in the north of the country. And Kenya, like the UK, like countries around the world, suffered hard because of COVID, which disrupted all our education systems. And so we have to work harder to catch up with where we wished to be had COVID not had such a detrimental effect on all our countries. That is why I'm really pleased and proud that the MOU that we're about to sign will strengthen our partnership even further, and it will help to ensure that all children, of course including girls, will get 12 years of quality education. And I'm hugely grateful to the Cabinet Secretary for his work in helping us to deliver this programme. And I'm also delighted to announce a new United Kingdom programme to help deliver our aspirations for closer partnerships. We will invest £4.5 million to support education reforms, including the Presidential Task Force reforms and tackling inequalities. And I hope, indeed I am confident, that this helps to implement the Presidential Task Force report, deepening the education sector's resilience. And I also encourage Kenya to endorse the global commitment to action on foundational learning, which gives all children the best start in life. And the UK will also invest in digital capabilities here in Africa, in other parts of the world. And that is something that we will discuss later on this week in the AI Summit that we are hosting in Bletchley Park in the United Kingdom. Now, we have spoken a lot about education, and I'm very proud of the unlocking effect that education has. And it was lovely to hear the story of how education transformed lives. But I have to make a confession. The one area that I didn't spend as much time in my own education as I wish I had is in the learning of languages. And unfortunately, as the UK Foreign Secretary, I travel around the world, mainly only speaking English. But in your wonderful, hospitable country, surrounded by wonderful, hospitable people, I have picked up a little bit of Swahili, just enough, I think, to conclude this meeting by saying, Asante sana.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Foreign Secretary, Your Excellency, Cabinet Secretary. Now, I will request a round of applause as they finish the signing of the UK-Kenya Education MOU. Another round of applause. We are excited, we are happy to see this come to the fruition. Please, thank you. Thank you.
And also to thank the UK government because over the years.
And that is the Education CS Ezekiel Machogu and the UK Foreign Secretary James Cleverly, who signed a memorandum of understanding in the field of education. And just a summary to skim through some of the issues highlighted by both parties, starting off with CS Machogu, who talked about the training for many Kenyans to UK government scholarship, which he said has helped in the organization of the professional landscape in the country in the different fields of sectors in Kenyan spheres. Exposure, which he said this has heard in terms of impacting the growth of the economy through professional growth of many Kenyans, and also the support accorded to the Presidential Working Party that President William Ruto put together when he came to power, and which had recommendations and handed over a report to him on how the education sector can be reorganized, including addressing the question of the competency-based curriculum, its situation where it's supposed to be domiciled, and also the funding for tertiary, TVETs, and also university in the country, and the question also of secondary schools. The head of state yesterday was at Kiambu Township Primary School, where he said the reason as to why we are having a lion's share of our budget supporting our education sector is because of the asset we have as the Kenyan people in exporting our human resource out of the country and also depending on it for our social and economic growth. James Cleverly started off with the refurbishment undertaken at the Eastlands Library, largely supported by the UK government, and also pointed out that the CS Ezekiel Machogu, as a part of those who have been educated in Birmingham City in the United Kingdom, courtesy of the support that was rolled out by London, which was supporting initiatives from across the Commonwealth nations. And he said that the UK and Kenya have achieved great milestones in the area of education, talking about how that symbiosis has had on its both populations and the growth, the understanding, the language, and also largely the culture. He also interestingly pointed out that the current UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's father was educated at Highway Secondary School here in Kenya, talking about how deep-rooted the relations between London and Nairobi is, saying that it's having a bearing, positively so, on also the leadership of the United Kingdom, pointing out, not mentioning him by name, but that automatically was the current UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, who has Kenyan roots here in Kenya, and after attaining the premiership position at 10 Downing Street, following the short stint of Liz Truss before the departure from office and Rishi Sunak coming to take over that position and the Conservatives heading the UK government. He talked about the traditional partnership between the UK government and Kenya, where he said that even in 2021, both the United Kingdom and the Kenyan government held the Global Education Summit, which he said $4 billion were fetched from that initiative, which will largely go into the education sectors of developing countries, including in the African continent. And why he said so, and arguing that in defending that point, that education is the equalizer for people to access healthcare, for people to access what he said is the growth in their lives, and therefore pointing out the same. And he said the UK government continues to support 500,000 marginalized girls set to schools, and so much, of course, which he said needs to be done. And 1.8 million Kenyans who he said are out of schools at the moment, and largely in northern part of the country. He largely talked about the disruptions brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, saying much needs to be done to stave off such circumstances, and that the MOU will strengthen the partnership between the UK and Kenya. And he said that now, under a new program during the King's visit, which will be attained, the United Kingdom government will offer 4.5 million euros to support education. And herein he pointed out the Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms, its implementation in terms of the mechanisms and the recommendations that it put forward, and deepening the resilience of the education sector. He said that is James Cleverly, the UK Foreign Secretary, who a while ago signed a memorandum of understanding with Kenya's Education CS Ezekiel Machogu. It's the second assignment of the King and the Queen's visit this afternoon here in Nairobi County. Later, they will be at the Nairobi Garage and will be giving you the live proceedings here on Citizen Television for this special coverage of the King and the Queen of the United Kingdom to Kenya. And for now, we'll get back to our normal programming. Once the King and the Queen will arrive at the next assignment, we'll be giving you this live coverage here on Citizen Television. Stay tuned and thanks for watching.